So we've got some terms that are very commonly used in the field of learning disabilities, and you've probably heard some of these before: dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyspraxia. Executive functioning is a new term that we look at. What this is saying is that the way this diagnosis will manifest at a university level is almost always in a difficulty in the area of reading. In fact, in public schools, about 85% of the students who are diagnosed as having a learning disabilities came to those processes, either a discrepancy or an RTI model, because of difficulties in reading. The last group is also some supports and services that are easy for schools to be able to offer, and those are supports in helping students to plan, to organize, to manage their time and tasks. Before we leave today, we're going to show you some possible services that are available at the university, and all of them support students in these different manifestations, the ways that they will experience a learning disability at the university level. The first one is a term that's really common in the field now, universal design, and I see some heads shaking. I'm so happy that people are aware of this. Something that we're seeing in K-12 systems is that we're asking teachers and instructors to think differently about their instructional design and look for ways to support all students who might be in their classrooms. So one way of organizing it is to think about the students who are at the two ends of that bell curve that we saw in that previous slide, the students who are extremely accelerated and those who have difficulty with any aspect of this. And if you plan to begin with, for those students to be successful, we'll find that we can plan inward to offer many ways of offering information. The three hallmarks of that are multiple means of representation. This is very useful for university classrooms. If an instructor offers instruction in writing, orally, through videotaped clips, through additional podcasts, remedial loops, other ways for students to be able to go back and see the information again in multiple ways, it's much more likely that all students in the class will benefit from that enriched curriculum. Multiple means of expression is seen in ways that professors can offer options for students to be able to show their understanding of the content. So if there are 5 possibilities that students can select to be able to produce products to show their knowledge, that happens much more often in K-12 settings than it does at a university, but we're asking professors to start to think differently about the ways that they can assess knowledge, skill and knowledge base. The last one is multiple means of engagement, and that's ways that you're engaging students in the courses through the options by offering selections of things that are of most interest to them, but also offering options in how they might access the information. So engagement is more about motivation. Also, it's much more important in K-12. Most of our university students are pretty motivated. They're here because they want to be here. An easy way to make all that happen is through well-designed, web-enhanced courses. So we use course management system here at Northeastern that is the D2L platform. There are many ways that professors can post additional information, ways of looking at the content over again. For example, we're starting to create podcasts of lectures that are becoming much more pervasive. I can tell you that when I studied statistics in my doctoral program, I videotaped the lectures because I needed to see that more than once. And it was the only way I made it through those graduate courses. There are many things that we can do like that. Also offering additional study aids materials that are available on the web so that when students are looking for a remedial experience to be able to see it again, to be able to review it once again, those are readily accessible by going to D2L. The comprehensive syllabus with clear expectations is an enormous help. It can clearly identify exactly what is expected for all the students in the class. Many times students with learning disabilities are lost when they're trying to read expectations of an assignment. If they can see examples of the assignments, if they can see a podcast with a more clearly explained direction about what's expected. The establishment of routines, any ways that we can create predictable classroom environments for any students with disabilities, we're really enhancing their ability to be successful in those classrooms. Through written instructions, with many categories of students with disabilities at a university level, having access to the professor's notes in advance or, at the time of the lecture is tremendously helpful. So we know that we go from a very extended PowerPoint. We've got a PowerPoint that we post up there, but there's lots of things that we can include in written instructions that we can add to that. Always, students should be given permission to record audio or videotape lectures so that they can go back to that content and listen to it again. It's a very helpful practice. And the last one was additional readings. Some of my students will ask for other ways to read about a topic to understand it more fully if they needed to be able to see it again. All of these are pointing to the fact that we need to change our culture at the university, where we're empowering students to be able to ask for additional supports, and we're encouraging them to self-disclose a disability and ask for the additional accommodations that are due, that are reasonable, that make a world of difference. And we're going to hear about some helpful accommodations from actual experiences here. We have a wide variety of services that are available through Student Disability Services Office, but that's just the beginning. There are many other supports and services at the university. Before I flip slides, I also want to remind university professors that they need to be really sensitive to the ways that we talk about disability in a classroom. And it's a very, they have a right, all students have a right to privacy regarding this. It's something that you talk about in a private setting with students and never call attention to it in front of a group. I just wanted to remember that we talked about that one. I want to show a document that we have established in the College of Education called Pathways to Student Success, and I have some copies of that I'll pass around. But we actually have a 3-tiered system of additional supports that are available for all students in the College of Education. So anybody who's having trouble, you don't have to identify in Doug's office. You can just come to ask a professor for additional supports and services. And I'm passing it out in all of these conversations lectures because I wish all of our programs here at the university would incorporate something like this. So there are always levels of support that are available.